Welcome to Santa Monica College Promise Online Information Seminar. My name is Josh Casillas. I'm a student onboarding specialist at the Welcome Center here at Santa Monica College. And my coworkers are here. They'd like to introduce themselves too.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adrienne Johnson. I'm a student services assistant here at the Welcome Center.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rodney Mills. I'm also a student services assistant at the Welcome Center. We're located on the first floor of the Student Services building, located at 19th and Pico.
And Mr. Bobby, would you like to, or Robbie, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yes, I'm just the sign language interpreter for today's meeting.
Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your support. Excuse me. The reason for this short video is to give you a better understanding of the SMC Promise program, the benefits, the requirements, and overall structure. We will provide you a quick slideshow. Then we'll finish up with a Q&A session. Q&A means that you're gonna ask questions and then we'll answer it. We do have a chat system on the Zoom program. You can enter your chat there in the general comments. You can put a chat there, we'll read it and then we'll answer it. If you do not feel comfortable providing your chat or your question on there, you can chat Mr. Rodney Mills, who's here with us today, in private. And when you chat with him, just provide your information. And unfortunately, we can only be general here when we're answering questions. With the SMC Promise, it all really depends on your individual case by case, okay? So if we may, we're gonna go ahead and get started. AJ?
All right, let's get started.
Let's get started. And please hold your questions till the end. We do appreciate it. Hold your questions to the end so we can really address them.
Okay, can everyone see my screen?
I think so. I'm going to start it off. SMC promising you. Woo. Right.
Okay, so what is the SMC Promise Program? So this is what we're going to go over today. So we're going to let you know what the SMC Promise Program is, how you can be eligible, the requirements, and also the perks of being in the program.
SMC Promise Program. The Santa Monica College Program, or SMCP as we like to call it in short, provides up to 2 years of free college for California high school graduates with the potential to also qualify for a book voucher and a free Chromebook.
Okay, so what are the SMC eligibility requirements? So to be part of the program, you must have had graduated from a public or private California high school, attending SMC as a first-year student. So that means you've never attended college before. You have a FAFSA or DREAM Act application on file with the SMC Financial Aid Department. You're a California resident or an AB 540 student and taking a minimum 12 units, or if you're eligible for a DSPS unit reduction, those are requirements. Josh, would you like to add anything?
Yes, I would like to add something. If you've never attended college before and you graduated high school, but not recently, let's say as an example, 2015, but you are attending college for the first time at SMC, you're going to need to send us an email, welcomecenter@smc.edu. Provide your complete name and your SMC ID number so we can review your file. It's not automatic that you will be placed in the SMC Promise. You will not receive any kind of notification. Whereas if you graduated this past summer, you would receive a notification saying to opt into the SMC Promise. So if there's any students out there that have graduated in the past and are not getting an opt-in message, always send an email to the Welcome Center at smc.edu. Mr. Mills, can you please provide that on the chat? If you have already, we appreciate it. There is the last point here. We do have a Center for Disabilities, or they used to be called the DSPS Center. Unit reduction, what that means, if there's any students that have had an IEP in junior high or high school and they need some sort of accommodation, they can meet with a DSPS counselor, and there's a potential where you can receive a unit reduction, which means your full time, instead of being 12 units, can be reduced to a lower number. For example, it could be 6 units would be your full-time requirement. So that's for the DSPS office to determine, and we'll update your file if they do agree with that. So that's the difference between 12 units and DSPS unit reduction requirement. We probably touch on that a little bit further in a future slide. Thank you, AJ. SMC Financial Aid. Sorry, there's a little message here in the way. Okay, there we go. Sorry. FAFSA school code for SMC is 001286. DREAM Act school code is 001286. The priority to complete your FAFSA or DREAM application, we like to say, is ASAP, okay? As soon as possible. Ideally, you want to do it before March 2nd every year. The reason we're telling you to do it ASAP is because we need to receive this information prior to the first day of your first semester at SMC, okay? It usually takes 3 to 5 business days to have your DREAM app or your FAFSA completed and processed. So long as you include the school codes, which are listed above, or you can type out Santa Monica College, the SMC Financial Aid Office has to upload the information into their file, so we know that your information is with us. Excuse me. FAFSA DREAM Act application must be completed annually, preferably before March 2nd. And the reason we say before March 2nd is because you also may qualify for other grants. There's another grant out there called Cal Grant that you may also qualify for, but it has to be submitted and received before March 2nd. And prior to the beginning of the student first semester of attendance of a new academic year to qualify for the SMC Promise benefits. Excuse me. What that means is we have to have your your FAFSA or DREAM Act application before the beginning of that semester. When you fill out your FAFSA or DREAM application, it's good for 1 academic year. Okay, an academic year starts in summer, fall, winter, and spring. That's 1 academic year. If you'll fill it out before March 2nd, it's going to cover you for summer, fall, winter, and spring. Okay. In order to become eligible for the CCPG fee waiver, which is, we call that CCPG fee waiver, students must qualify through their FAFSA or DREAM Act applications. Is there anything you'd like to add, AJ?
Yes. So once you filled out your FAFSA, how do you know we've received it? So you would want to log into Coursera Connect, go to your homepage. On the left-hand side navigation panel, you'll see a link that says financial aid. You click on there and you can, that's where you can check your financial aid. And I do highly suggest checking it frequently. And also be sure to add SMC on your FAFSA or DREAM application when you are filling it out to be submitted.
Thank you, AJ.
All right.
Very helpful.
Okay, so SMC Promise versus the CCPG. So this can get a little bit confusing. They both have promise in the name. So SMC Promise, this is not dependent on student financial need, and it covers tuition plus additional student fees, potentially up to 2 years. So the California College Promise Grant, or the CCPG fee waiver, this covers enrollment fees only and is limited to low-income students that do qualify. And this can be used indefinitely. So the SMC Promise program, potentially up to 2 years only, 2 consecutive years only. The CCPG can be used indefinitely as long as you do qualify. The CCPG is formally known as the Board of Governors Fee Waiver, or the BOG fee waiver. So your course tuition fees are covered for the entire academic school year. So that's summer, fall, winter, and spring. So unlike the SMC Promise, there is a unit requirement. With the CCPG, there is no unit minimum. And you must be a California resident or AB 540 student. Josh, would you like to add anything?
I think I would. I'm actually
All
kind of
right.
excited about this slide for some reason. Yeah, I'm very corny. Okay. Okay. So SMC Promise versus the CCPG. I'd like to add that for the SMC Promise, it's good for 2 years. Okay. Now, 2 years, it means summer, fall, winter, and spring to next summer, fall, winter, and spring. The thing about the SMC Promise, you don't have to attend summer or winter. Once again, you do not have to attend summer or winter. Okay. The SMC Promise will cover you from fall to spring, so long as you're meeting all the requirements and passing your classes with the required units. It will go from fall to spring and roll over to next year, fall to spring. Okay, no need to attend the summer or winter unless you want to. Okay, if you want to attend the short-term semesters, if you have a CCPG, the fee waiver from financial aid, you also get your enrollment fees paid for during those short-term semesters. Whereas for the SMC Promise, if you don't have, for example, 12 units for the summer or 12 units for the winter, which is pretty much impossible to enroll in 12 units for the short-term semesters. I believe you can only enroll in 8 units. The CCPG is almost a safety net. Well, it will at least cover your enrollment fees. You will have to pay out of pocket for your student fees and books though. So if you interested in taking the short-term semesters, that is up to you, or between you and your academic counselor or your DSPS counselor, or if you feel you're falling out of the SMC Promise where you're not meeting the unit requirements, then you can reach out to us and we may advise you to take a short-term semester, depending on other factors. Okay. The good thing also is if you have an SMC Promise and a CCPG, you get a book voucher. Only students that have both SMC Promise and a CCPG fee waiver get a book voucher. Okay. Hopefully that clears up a little bit of that there. So we may touch on some of this stuff that I did speak on the next slides coming up here. SMC Perks. So what I was discussing on the previous slide was the SMC Promise will cover your course fees and your student fees. If you look at the boxes here, the first 2 top boxes are your course fees or your enrollment fees. That is covered with the SMC Promise. In addition, with the SMC Promise, it covers your student fees, which are the next 6 boxes below that. Okay, the course fees are your enrollment, $46 per unit. 12 units equals that amount. Okay, your student fees are associated with student resources, student benefits, health, student representation. All right, so once again, if, for example, if you are not part of the SMC Promise because you're not enrolled in 12 units in a short-term semester, at least your CCPG, your fee waiver, will cover your enrollment or your course fees waived. That will cover that, but you will have to pay out of pocket once again for your student fees. Okay, you get up to $1,200 textbook vouchers a year, and that's broken down. We will go into a future slide, broken down by semesters, how much you get. You get priority registration for future semesters or future terms. That's really important because classes do fill up really quick at SMC. And if you have priority enrollment, meaning you get to enroll when the enrollment days come out, you're going to be able to select your schedule prior to many students. And it's really important because when, say, example, you're in this fall semester, you will get your enrollment date before the end of this fall. You'll get an enrollment date for next winter and next spring. Okay, and that goes into one of the check marks down here at the bottom, which is fee postponement. You actually qualify for a fee postponement where you, so long as you're in the SMC Promise and you're meeting the requirements and passing for future semesters, you don't owe any fees. And then at the end of the term, if you do complete your unit requirement with passing grades, then your fee postponement is still there, and then you don't have to pay for fees because SMC Promise picks those up. Okay, you also qualify for a free Chromebook if you're part of SMC Promise. If you're in the SMC Promise, you're meeting all the requirements, you get a free Chromebook to do whatever you like with it. It's your property. You have to update it. You can do whatever you want to use it however you want. It is yours. Would you like to add anything, AJ?
Yes, I would. So how do you request your free Chromebook? So Mr. Rodney Mills, if you can, please put the link in the chat. So you'll go to the SMC Promise webpage. On the left-hand navigation panel, there's a link and it'll say SMC Promise, or I'm sorry, Chromebook project. So once you click on there, you want to scroll all the way to the bottom and there's a link to request your Chromebook. I do highly advise if we have not received your financial aid, please wait, and I'm sorry, your FAFSA or DREAM application, if it's not on file yet, please wait until we have received that to request your Chromebook. Because as Josh did mention, you do have to be in the in the program to be eligible, and that means meeting the eligibility requirements. You have your FAFSA or DREAM application on file, and you're meeting your unit requirement. Anything else, Josh?
No, I think
We're
that's
good?
pretty good.
All
Yeah, we're
right.
good. Thank you. Textbook vouchers. Okay, as we touched earlier, the textbook vouchers, the SMC Promise book vouchers are for only students that are part of SMC Promise and receiving a CCPG fee waiver. Those two combined, that means you qualify for a book voucher. Okay, if you're just an SMC Promise and you're not getting a fee waiver, you're not going to get a book voucher. Okay, once again, only for those students also receiving a CCPG fee waiver, up to $1,200 for the academic year. And the way it's broken down is you get $500 for fall, $500 for spring. You have to meet all the requirements, okay? You have to make sure you're enrolled in the number of units that is required from you. And you have to pass those units with passing grades, and then it'll transfer over to the next semester. For example, for this fall, if you're part of the SMC Promise and you get a CCPG fee waiver, you qualify for a book voucher for this fall. You can utilize it. Please do utilize it if you have one. They're out there. A lot of students qualify, but they don't use them. Please use them. There's $500 there for each major fall and spring semester, which are the ones that roll over for SMC Promise. For the short-term semesters, there's $100 for summer, $100 for winter. Once again, not many students are going to qualify for this because you have to meet your unit requirement. Once again, summer and winter are optional to attend. There are some students that have a unit reduction through the DSPS, the Center for Disability for Students. They may qualify for the short-term semesters because you can only enroll in 8 units for the short terms. There is a cap, but some of those students may have a 6-unit requirement. That's their full time. So they may qualify for that, or you may qualify for that. Can only be used at the SMC bookstore, www.bookstore.smc.edu. Mr. Mills, if you can include that in the chat, we appreciate it. It includes books, material, and school supplies. To use your voucher, you must go onto that link there. You create an account. You add your books to your online account card. Select A/R charge -SMC Promise at checkout. Use the voucher by the deadline. So you can check on our website what the deadlines are for book voucher. Each semester is going to have a start and deadline for the book voucher. Okay. If, for example, you go on your SMC Promise on your Coursera Connect, you click on SMC Promise for this fall 2022, and you see on there that there's a graph at the bottom. It'll show you if you've opted in. Yes, that's the one check you're going to look at. There's a box at the bottom. The next one is financial aid, if we receive that, or FAFSA app or Dreams app. Yes, that's the second thing. The third thing you're going to look at is if your unit requirements are being met. Unit requirements, it will say, example, unit required 12. If you have 12, then you're good. The next thing you're going to look at is CCPG or fee waiver. If you also get a yes under that, that means you qualify for a book voucher. On top, there is blue writing that'll say eligible and eligibility alert. In that eligibility alert is going to tell you the beginning and end date. For this fall, I believe it was August 15 to October 31st that you can utilize a book voucher at the SMC bookstore. And that's the only place you can use the book vouchers at. AJ, I think I covered
You
most of it.
absolutely
Do you have
did.
Okay, why, thank you.
All right. Okay, so some other details about the SMC Promise program. So eligible students with disabilities may be approved for fewer than 12 units, along with reasonable accommodations. So please go to www.smc.edu/DSPS. You must also maintain eligibility during the fall and spring semesters by completing at least 12 units, or if approved for a unit reduction, and you must pass with a grade of an A, B, C, D, or a pass. There's also alternative eligibility to regain SMC Promise by making up units, and I believe Josh will talk a little bit more about that. For second year Promise, it will automatically be activated as long as you are meeting the requirements. So there's no need to opt in again for the second year. As long as you're meeting requirements, it'll automatically roll over. Josh.
Thank you, AJ. Very smooth. Yes, I'd like to add, not add, but I want to reiterate for the DSPS students, if you've had an IEP in high school or you feel you have a learning disability, you may want to contact for the Center for Disabilities, which is on the first floor at the Student Services Center on the main campus of Santa Monica College. They may be able to assist you and figure out or help you if you do have a learning disability to potentially get a unit reduction. They are there. They're a great resource. Make sure you utilize them. When it comes to maintaining the eligibility, once again, the SMC Promise will cover you for an entire year, but it rolls over from fall to spring. You do not have to take the short-term summer or winter semesters, but I will go into that now with alternative eligibility. Okay, alternative eligibility, what does that mean? That basically means you can make up the units that you were missing in the main semester during the short-term semester to regain your SMC Promise. Okay, so I'll use this fall as an example. Let's say this fall you're enrolled in 12 units. You complete fall. At the end of this fall, you only pass 9 units. Okay, you have one class, which is 3 units that you did not pass. So you passed 9 units and you were missing 3 units where you didn't pass that class. You will be given the opportunity to regain your SMC Promise by taking classes in the winter semester. You can take those 3 units to make them up. It doesn't have to be the same class. And if you make those up when your grades are posted for winter, you regain your SMC Promise for this upcoming spring. That's what alternative eligibility means. Okay. The thing about alternative eligibility is you will be enrolling for the next winter and spring semester towards the end of the fall semester. So this is something you want to be cognitive of if you will be in fear of falling out of your SMC Promise during the semester. You may want to reach out to us. Once again, welcome center at smc.edu. We can create a plan to get you alternative eligibility to make up the units so you can regain, if you are fear of losing some of the units and not completing 12 units, or your other, if you're a DSPS unit reduction, we can reach out to us. We can create a plan so we can try to get you back into the spring. Okay. So that's the way the alternative eligibility works in short. And the same thing would be for the springs. Let's say we're in this future spring semester and you're falling out, or at the end of the semester, you don't complete the 12 units or your unit reduction, DSPS unit reduction, you can make up the units in the short-term summer semester. When those grades are posted, you regain for next fall. All right. So we will be having a seminar for alternative eligibility in the middle of the semester to explain more about that, but it's basically that in a nutshell. You make up the units during the short-term semester so you can regain in the next main semester. Main semesters are fall and spring. All right. The one thing you also want to be aware of is SMC Promise will not cover you for those short-term semesters, but if you have a fee waiver, that will at least cover your enrollment fees, as I touched on, or we touched on a previous slide. I think that's everything for this slide. Unless you have anything else, AJ.
Oh, no, nothing else.
Contact us. Our email is welcomecenter@smc.edu. Please allow 48 business hours for us to reply to your message. We're usually pretty much on top of it. We're caught up. When you do email us, include your SMC ID number and your complete name. If you don't include your SMC ID number, you got to imagine how many John Smiths there are, or Jose Hernandez there are. So we need to have your SMC ID number so we can look at your exact file if you have any questions. Our website is smc.edu/welcome center, smc.edu/promise. We have all this information that we discussed on the seminar there. The dates and deadlines, eligibility requirements, alternative eligibility. We also have a Instagram at SMC College Hacks. We provide on there the mass emails that we do send out to keep you up to date on your SMC Promise, events that are on campus, dates and deadlines, other resources. So if you'd like to jump on there and just see what's going on, we have updates on there, especially as geared towards SMC Promise students. Would you like to add anything to this, AJ?
No, but I would like to say congratulations to all of you Promise students. Once you've completed the requirements, you're officially into the program. So I just want to say welcome to SMC. I hope you have a wonderful fall semester.
Thank you, AJ. I can speak for the rest of us. We welcome you. Congratulations, you are here. We are going to open it up for Q&A. Glad you're here too, Andrea. Appreciate that. We are going to open up to a Q&A. The one thing I did want to specify though is at any time, if you have any questions about SMC Promise, be proactive, okay? Send us an email, all right? Because there are some students that may qualify for SMC Promise, but we have to do further research. We have a thing called SMC Promise Special Consideration, but you have to email us. We have to look at your individual file to see if you would qualify. It is on a case-by-case basis. All right, so we do have the main chat open. If you want to leave your chat there or your question there, we will read it off. We'll just read off your first name and then we'll answer your question. Don't be afraid. The last session, we had many questions. Other students may have the same question you may have. So don't be afraid to put it on there. If you don't feel comfortable asking the question in the general chat, you can ask Mr. Mills separately in private. There he is waving, and he will answer it for you accordingly on the first come, first serve basis. Excuse me. So I know we have some questions. Who's going to step up? Here we go. Okay. All right. I'll start off with this one, AJ. Is that okay?
Of course.
Okay. Let me scroll up here. Nice to meet y'all. Nice to meet you too. This is Andrea. I'm sorry. Okay. You're late. I have fulfilled, has not received my FAFSA documents. Okay. So that I can't go into detail because you'd have to provide your SMC ID number and I'd have to look at your file to see if we've received your FAFSA or not. And the next step would possibly be contact the financial aid. They have a system we don't have access to that they can tell you if you just made it, if you forgot to include SMC, or you filled out the wrong one, things of that nature. We have access, but it's limited. They can access it in detail and tell you when you made changes, how come it hasn't been updated. Once again, it does take 3 to 5 business days for SMC to receive your FAFSA or DREAM application once you file it. If you make a correction, it also takes another 3 to 5 business days from that day. I hope that answers your question. Perfect. All right. If you do want to be, do want to have that confirmed, you can send an email to the welcome center at smc.edu, include your complete name and ID number. We'll pull up your file and see what we can get for you. Okay. You are welcome. Thank you.
All right, so we have Daniela. Okay, so I want to ask, what do we do if our FAFSA isn't processing? I submitted my FAFSA for my second year in January and it said it was processed properly, but from SMC it says that my FAFSA is not on file. What do I do? What is the problem? So there may be, couple of troubleshooting I could think of from the top of my head. So I would go back to your FAFSA application, be sure that you have included SMC on your application. I would also check for any errors, make sure your birthday is correct, social security number. If you do have 2 last names, make sure that that's matching up with what you've filled out when you applied to SMC. And anything else, I would suggest reaching out to the financial aid department. Josh, anything else would you like to add?
No, I think you hit it. Excuse me, you hit it on the head. You want to do your research yourself, you can go on your FAFSA or DREAM application, log in, and you can check all that information yourself. Remember, when you apply for FAFSA or DREAM, your name has to be exactly the way it is on your social security card. Exactly the same way, otherwise it won't take. You can check to see if you've included SMC. The school code for FAFSA is 001286, or you can type in Santa Monica College. For the DREAM application, it's 00128600, or once again, you can type in Santa Monica College. The best method is you can email us and then we can check to see what we can see. But once again, financial aid has access to the FAFSA and the DREAM applications that we don't, and it may be best to contact them at some point. They can look into your file to see why it's not being uploaded. If you filed it back then, we should have received it by now. Hopefully that answers your question. Once again, if you have any questions, you want us to look at your particular file, please email us, include your name and SMC ID number. We'll do what we can to help you out with that. Next question. Anayansi, I'm sorry if I said it right or wrong. I do apologize. How do I know if I qualify for the CCPG? So if you are part of the SMC Promise, what you're going to do is log into your Coursera Connect, drop down menu Fall 2022. On the left-hand side, click on SMC Promise. A graph is going to come up. Okay, it'll say eligibility alert. It'll have blue wording in there, tells you what you qualify for, how to maintain your requirements. And then on the bottom, there's going to be a graph. On that graph is going to have you opted in, yes, unit requirement, units enrolled, things of that nature. There's on the top of the right-hand graph, it'll say CCPG or fee waiver. If there's a yes there, that means you qualify for the CCPG. You can also log on to your Coursera Connect under your financial aid. And if it says CCPG, and I believe it's a green button, awarded, then you know you qualified for that. Or once again, you can email us, we can check your file for you, or you can check with the financial aid to see if they have, to see if you have a CCPG. But you're more than welcome to email us first and we'll go from there.
All right, and I'll take the next question. So Markela, so when going to the bookstore for the Chromebook, do we just tell them we're part of the program? Okay, so you must request your Chromebook. So you'll go to the SMC Promise page on the left-hand side navigation panel. There's a link and it says SMC Promise Chromebook Project. Click on that link, fill out the request form. Once it's submitted, once it's processed, it'll take about 7 days to process. You'll receive a confirmation email. So once you do receive this confirmation email, you will take this over to the bookstore and you'll be provided your Chromebook. And it's yours to keep. It's not a loaner. Just wanted to say that again.
That is great. Yeah, just keep in mind, there is a process for that. We do receive hundreds of requests. It takes 7 business days to have it processed. Then you receive an email, follow the instructions on the email. You can't just walk up to the bookstore and pick it up. Okay, we have to look into the file and make sure you qualify. Then we issue them on a first come, first served basis. Hopefully that makes sense.
Oh wait, Josh,
Great,
you're
sorry.
muted.
I know I did that. Did I sound great or what?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Oh, really? Giovanni. Hi, I was wondering how I see and use my book vouchers. I was awarded CCPG and SMC Promise. Okay, so there is a video on our website, on our Promise website. Rodney, if you have a chance, if you can quickly put that link on there. That link contains 3 videos. 1, how to opt in, which hopefully you've already done that. 2, the difference between SMC Promise and the CCPG, the fee waiver. 3, how to use or access your SMC Promise book voucher. It includes screenshots. It's pretty short, about 2 minutes. And if you have any further questions, you can email us, but it's pretty simplified. It's pretty much on there. You log into the bookstore, you make an account, you include a credit card in case you go over the amount, and then you put your stuff in the cart, the online cart, and then you select A/R charge SMC Promise. But I recommend watching the video. If Mr. Mills has included that link, he has. For the video library, it gives you step-by-step process on how to access that.
All right, so next question, Josh, I may need a little help with this one. Okay, so I applied to FAFSA last year and included SMC, but it didn't start SMC until now. Would it count for eligibility? If not, can I still apply for FAFSA and still be on time for the Promise and other grants this year?
So that kind of throws me off. And when you say you applied for FAFSA last year, last year's FAFSA was 2020 to 2021, or last year's FAFSA and Dream. Okay, this year, this current year, for this summer, fall, winter, and spring, FAFSA is 2022 to 2023, and that covers this past summer, this fall, winter, and spring. So if you haven't applied for the 2022-2023, I recommend you fill out as soon as possible. make sure you include SMC. It does take 3 to 5 business days for it to be processed. So long as you included SMC, we will receive it in 3 to 5 business days. You can send us an email, welcomecenter@smc.edu, edu. I got excited. Include your name and your SMC ID number. Once that has been processed, we can check your file at that point to see if you qualify for the SMC Promise, and also if you qualify for a fee waiver. Now, when it comes to grants, we don't have access to your grants. We don't know how much you would qualify for. That is based on the financial aid process that they have in place, where they may ask you for further documentation, verification worksheets, taxes, things of that nature. They determine based on your EFC, which is estimated family contribution, how much you would qualify for at SMC. Hopefully that makes sense. But the best I can tell you is complete it as soon as possible, log in. If it's not there, do it as soon as possible. 3 to 5 business days. When you're told that we've received it, email us with your name and ID number. We can check and we'll go from there. Sound good?
Thank you, Josh. All right,
Thank you.
Elizabeth. Okay, so when do you have to reapply for FAFSA and the SMC Promise? So you do have to resubmit your FAFSA or DREAM application every year, and you want to get that in before March 2nd. For the SMC Promise, as long as you meet all of your eligibility requirements, it'll automatically roll over. So you don't have to reapply, you don't have to opt in. You should be taken care of.
If I may add to that,
Yes,
AJ,
absolutely.
so you do want to apply every year before March 2nd, excuse me, or when you file your taxes, or if your parents file taxes, if they don't, complete it before March 2nd, because you also may qualify for other grants called Cal grants. And then when you apply for March 2nd, that's far in advance from the academic year. The academic year starts in summer, and then it goes through fall, winter, and spring. Okay, that's why they tell you to do it before March 2nd. Hopefully that helps, Elizabeth. Sophia, I believe we may have been in contact. I was wondering how I could rent out a calculator for my class. I believe you may want to ask your instructor if they have any resources that can assist you with that. Just let them know that you can't afford the calculator, or if you can get a loaner because you're not going to keep it, or maybe too expensive. You can also check with the bookstore if they have loaners. We also have other programs on campus you may be a part of. I'm not sure, Rodney, if you have access to that. It's under student services. Let me bring it up here. Bear with me. Let me post it on the chat. I think I just came up with it. Here it goes. I just included it in the link. I'm sorry, in the chat. There is a link there. There's other programs on campus that you may qualify for that potentially will allow you to have a loaner, or can get you a loaner, or rent one out, however it may be. Unfortunately, the SMC Promise, we don't have that in effect. So I do apologize for that. Hopefully that helps, Sophia. Sorry.
And Leilani, so how do we go about receiving our benefits if eligible for the SMC Promise? So at the end of the term, all of your fees will be covered at the end of the term. So as long as you do pass your 12 units, you have your FAFSA or DREAM application on file, and you've opted in. Josh, do you want to add anything else? Yes, please.
I do want to add something. Okay, so you're welcome. So the way the SMC Promise works is we pay for your enrollment fees and your student fees, so long as you're meeting the requirements, so long as you're opted in, you're meeting the units, and we receive your FAFSA. SMC Promise will cover you, okay? SMC Promise will actually pay out at the end of the semester when your grades have been posted. If you pass your classes, then it'll pay out, it'll give you a buffer, a fee postponement for the next winter and spring, all right? That's the way SMC Promise works. Now, if you paid out of pocket before you joined Promise, SMC Promise, or if you paid out of pocket before you were aware that you were in SMC Promise, you will qualify for a refund. If you log on to your Coursera Connect, go under Fall 2022 semester, on the left-hand side, there above SMC Promise, it says Bank Mobile. You're gonna click on that, complete that application, and what transpires is, once again, at the end of the semester, when your grades are posted, and you meet the requirements, you pass your unit requirement with passing grades, or you complete your units with passing grades, then you'll be issued a refund. It usually takes about 2 weeks or so, and it's electronic. You can opt for a check to be cut, but in the past, a check to be cut usually takes about 4 months for it to be mailed and received. Hopefully that makes sense. I believe Leilani was asking that question. I did throw a bunch of extra stuff in there. Feel free to ask more questions. If you have further questions based on the information we are providing, feel free to ask more questions. That's what we are here for. Sometimes it's quicker to ask a question and we answer it verbally than writing an email. Sometimes emails take 10 to 15 minutes, depending on the status of the student or the questions you are asking or the links we need to provide. So if you have a question we can answer here verbally, feel free to throw it in the chat. Or if anybody wants to speak, I can remove the mute button and you can feel free to speak if you want to speak instead of chat. Let me get on that. Give me a couple minutes.
And while you're doing that, Josh, I just would like to add, for any students, if you do log into Coursera Connect and you see fees when you click on fee assessment, as we have said, fees will be taken care of at the end of the term once grades are posted.
I think I removed the mute. If you'd like to
That's
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, Andrea has, yes, it is in December. That's correct.
So you're allowed to unmute yourself if anybody wants to speak instead of chatting, but it's up to you. We're still here. If you want to answer any questions, ask any question. I'm sorry, we got about, let's say 15 more minutes. Feel free to ask questions. There's plenty of students here. Plenty of students here. There may be other students that have the same questions you do. Feel free to ask. Once again, if you don't feel comfortable putting in the general chat, you can either chat with Mr. Mills in private, or you can send us an email. And please include your complete name and SMC ID number, and we'll look into your individual file. Is there a way to see, Giovanni, great question. Is there a way to see how much money is vouchers I've received? So once again, for fall, if you're part of the SMC Promise and you're also receiving a fee waiver, you qualify for the book voucher. You get up to $500 for this fall. When you use it at the bookstore. They have an account. We don't have how much you have used of the book voucher and how much you have left. You'd have to contact them to ask them what your balance is for your book voucher. But in general, you have $500 for this fall. Next spring is $500. If you do attend this upcoming winter, and if you qualify for the SMC Promise, which is once again really rare, unless you have a unit reduction, then you can qualify for a book voucher. It'll be $100 for the short-term semester. Hopefully that answered your question. If not, feel free to throw another question in the chat and we'll attempt to answer it. You are welcome.
Also, I would just like to add, I know this was a lot of information. It will be posted, but if you're on campus, feel free to reach out. Myself, Adrian Johnson, or AJ, or Mr. Rodney Mills, we are at the Welcome Center, first floor of the Student Services Center.
They are the two with the biggest smiles that work at the Welcome Center. See, you see that? I'm just the guy with the bald head. I like doing that for some reason. I'm trying to get there, Robbie. Sorry. Is there any other questions? We'll be here for about another 12 minutes. I think I might invite Dean Hernandez if he does want to say something, since nobody's asking any other questions. Just bear with Any other questions, whatever it may be, feel free to ask. If we don't have the answer, if it is for a different department, we can attempt to provide you with the right department of where to go to ask your question, or a person in that department that can assist answering your question. Do we have any other questions? Because I think I may stop recording if we don't have any further questions. And then we can just call it a day. I will give it about 1 more minute.